Maggie Nelson is in the quiet chaos of her LA apartment, cradling her swollen belly, her partner Harry Dodge beside her. Harry fluid shifting, refusing labels, and Maggie pregnant with the child they'll bring into a world far messier and more beautiful than most expect. But this isn't just about birth. It's about love, language, and identity all tangled in unpredictable ways. What happens when the very things we depend on to define ourselves, words, bodies, family, start slipping away under our hands? At the heart of the Argonauts is a romance that defies neat categories. Maggie falls for Harry, an artist who bends gender like light through a prism. It's messy, dazzling, and utterly new. Maggie meets Harry Dodge at an opening in an LA gallery, Harry wearing a hoodie, speaking softly but compellingly about identity and art. Their connection is immediate but complex. Harry embodies not a label but a feeling, a defiance of boxes, which forces Maggie to confront her own assumptions about gender right there amid the smoky light and clinking glasses. Think of gender like a river, constantly flowing rather than a frozen statue. Maggie borrows from queer theory and philosophy, explaining gender as performance and becoming. It's how Harry lives daily. Just like a river carves its own unpredictable path, Harry's gender shifts, refuses stasis. This fluidity challenges Maggie's language, pushing her to invent new ways to talk about love and identity. What seems like confusion ultimately offers liberation. Maggie realizes that slipping out of fixed categories is not loss but gain. Her love for Harry becomes a radical freedom, a daily choice to embrace uncertainty. In that space, identity is less about definitions and more about devotion to each other's evolving selves, proof that love thrives best when it's not neat. Pregnancy is often told as a straight, biological script. Maggie and Harry rewrite that script, turning it queer, complex, and profoundly tender. Maggie's pregnancy journey isn't solo. Harry participates fully, despite not fitting traditional parental roles. They find themselves negotiating doctor's appointments, sonograms, and social assumptions together. In one moment, Maggie describes Harry navigating gendered language in a waiting room, pushing back against forms that insist on boxes, reclaiming space for their new family's shape. The body becomes a battlefield and a temple. Pregnancy brings joy but also exposes Maggie to invasive questions and limitations. She describes the unpredictable physical sensations, the hormonal shifts, and the way their bodies communicate what words cannot. It's like two ships navigating the fog, learning new coordinates as they go, fragile but deeply connected. Their family challenges societal blueprints. Intimacy, caregiving, and kinship stretch far beyond who's biologically female or male. Maggie reframes family as a constellation of choice and care, not just biology or norms. It's in these small, radical daily acts, midnight feedings, whispered names, that their family truly takes shape, bursting the old boundaries wide open. Maggie's memoir is famously part auto theory, mixing raw experience with sharp philosophical musings. But what happens when language itself resists the stories we need to tell? Harry asks Maggie to use they/them pronouns, but in everyday life people slip into he or she, sometimes even Maggie. She recounts moments of awkwardness and frustration, funny but poignant, like attending a family event where every misgendering feels like a small wound. It's a daily wrestling match between respect and habit. Maggie dives into theory, drawing from Derrida and Judith Butler, explaining how words can fail to capture shifting identities. Language is a tool but also a cage, like trying to catch wind in a jar. It sometimes feels impossible to pin down the fluid selves. Yet this tension doesn't stop her. It pushes her to rethink what voice, narrative, and meaning can be. Finally, Maggie claims that new words grow from love's radical acts, the pronouns, the terms, even the stories morph and expand to fit live truth. The Argonauts itself is a voyage into new linguistic seas, and by telling her story honestly, Maggie makes space for others swimming in those same waves, proof that language can heal if we dare to remake it. Back in that LA apartment, Maggie holds Harry close, their future uncertain but fiercely bright. The messy, joyful complexity of their journey rewrites what we think love, family, and identity have to look like. Try this next time you feel boxed in by words or roles. Remember Maggie and Harry's voyage. Lean into the uncertainty. Let your story and your language reshape themselves as beautifully as the Argonauts' ever-shifting sea. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.